Hi, I'm Madeleine from Sheen Slings, and this is the Ergo Omni Breeze carrier. The Breeze came out last year, 2021, and it is really an updated version of Ergo's much loved Omni 360 carrier. It does all the same things as that carrier, just has a few little tweaks, which means it fits even more babies and even more parents than before. It has been super popular since it came out last year, so much so that despite owning 6 of these, I've struggled to make this video because they hire out so quickly. I rarely have one in stock to make a video with, but today I do. So I'm going to take you through this carrier from bottom up, show you how it works, talk about what babies, ages and stages it fits, how it fits parents, etc. And then towards the end of this video, I will show you what the differences are, how this carrier differs from the older Omni 360 model, and talk a little bit about how it compares with other things on the market. So to get started, you'll start at the waistband. Just like the older, like all Omnis, this is adjustable. So we've got a nice adjustment system in here, which means we can make this smaller for a little baby and we can make it bigger as baby grows. It is worth saying they do advertise this carrier as from newborn. On the smaller setting, to be honest, it's still quite a challenge to get a true newborn in here, particularly because of the length of the carrier. I would say this carrier is definitely one that works best from about 8 weeks or so. Just starts to feel a bit more natural. Baby doesn't seem like they're disappearing into it as much from about 8 weeks, but it genuinely does continue fitting and last up to around 2 years of age. So it will give you a good amount of use and longevity once baby fits. The waistband itself is relatively wide, quite firm, but still quite flexible and pliable. And this is one of the changes. This carrier, it feels quite similar to the old one, but it's ever so slightly trimmed down. So there's a little bit less bulk everywhere. Not huge amounts less, but a little bit less. Something certainly I notice it feeling slightly better on me, in that I don't feel like there's as much bulk. Again, as before, we have a lovely lumbar pad, and you can adjust it from both ends to really make sure it's sitting in your back. We still have the bum bag. They have added these side pockets. Honestly, not really sure what you're going to put in there and not sure what would fit. I think they've got a picture of a phone, but it feels pretty easy to knock it out or nick it out of. Maybe get a pair of keys. Not really sure about them. Bum bag is still nice and capacious and is attached by Velcro, so you can take it off easily if you want to. And then working up the panel, we still have this lovely buckety seat. And actually this is one of the changes. They've slightly changed the look of this carrier. So actually it looks quite different, but actually isn't very different. We still have the sliders that allow you to adjust this carrier between the inward facing mode and the outward facing mode, so it's super easy to switch baby from in and out. We just move these sliders and it changes the shape of the seat. The seat is slightly better, gives a slightly nicer fit for inwards facing, and just that it's a little bit more encompassing by how they slightly changed how these sliders sit on the carriers. They've sort of made this sort of little wing, and we've got a slightly better sort of cupping seat. Still works beautifully outward facing. So if I move that in, and I'll rotate my doll so you can see, we can pop babies. We've still got that lovely bucket seat allowing you to really get a nice comfy seat, and baby's legs come out in the narrower part. Oops, sorry my baby. There we go, so you can see baby's legs come out here. So still work really well, both inwards and outwards. I actually really like this improved seat shape. I just think it sits much more like the Adapt, which was always my favourite Ergo model before this. I never liked the adaptation they made for the 360 because I felt like you just didn't get that really nice rounded shape. And I love that one of the updates with the Breeze is that it brought back that beautifully rounded shape. But the main difference when you look at it is they've slightly hidden it through these wings. So it's really actually quite an aesthetic difference rather than a real functional difference. And really this carrier is designed to look a little bit more sporty and sleek than the older version. and that actually in terms of the functionality, it's almost completely identical. So as we travel up this carrier, we've got the straps. Just as before, they can be worn in the H configuration or crisscrossed across your back. I love that you can do both because this carrier is lovely for sharing. It makes the carrier lovely sharing between parents of different shapes and sizes. It means that if one of you prefers cross and one of you prefers H, you can still share this carrier easily. In terms of straps, we've got absolutely tons of webbing. So it will works really well on plus size parents, works for almost all parents. Now, one of the criticisms I had of the older Omni 360 model was that it didn't work really well for petite parents, and one of the main reasons for that was twofold. One, it was really bulky on the shoulders, but you can see again they've trimmed this down so it's not as bulky. Tends to sit better on a lot of parents, but particularly those with smaller shoulders, because it's not as bulky and wearing them as much. And the other thing is they've changed the length of this padded section. So if I undo that, you can see this section here is now actually slightly shorter. Most people aren't going to notice this difference. They're not going to notice that it is shorter. But for very petite parents, it simply means they can get it tighter on, particularly when it comes to back carrying. So one of my criticisms of the older models was petite parents often couldn't get it tight enough for back carrying, and as a result they just couldn't use the carrier once they got to that stage. However, by just removing a couple of centimetres worth of padding, this now works so much better on petite parents, and definitely something I'm recommending now, whereas I wasn't before. So really, I love the fact that it's now fitting a much wider range of parents. It's rare actually that I meet someone who this doesn't fit. So yeah, we've trimmed it down. It's still a relatively bulky carrier, but it's definitely not as bulky. So now if we talk about the fabric, this is the Breeze. They also have the Dream, which is a soft cotton, but the Breeze is designed to be their breathable. It's like the replacement for the air mesh. And that is because they've got what they call soft flex mesh. So if I come in close, you might be able to see, it's quite a closed mesh, but it's very, very, very soft, very, very, very breathable. And it's all over the entire carrier. So with the older model, we had a cotton carrier with panels that were replaced with mesh. This, we've got the mesh, apart from on the head support and the pocket for the hood. Apart from those places, the entire carrier is covered in this mesh front and back, and it does mean it is quite breathable, well, very breathable. It is important when you're thinking about heat and summer carriers to realise that a lot of the warmth comes from the padding, and as I said, they've trimmed that down, but it is still quite a padded carrier, so it's still not the coolest carrier in the world, but it's definitely up there. It's a good option for year round. So other things to have a look at, we have this support for as baby grows, if they need that up, and it can also go inwards to make this carrier just a little bit snugger on a younger baby. And inside here we have a hood, in case you ever feel you need to cover baby's head. To be honest, I have to say I rarely ever get this out or use it, but it's there if you want it, and you can forget about it otherwise. They've also added these little flashes of glow-in-the-dark material, and they're on the back too, which added for safety walking at night so that you can be seen on the road. Again, whether that makes too much difference is another matter. Certainly in the winter at night you'll probably have a coat on around it anyway. So this is the Omni Breeze. So what does it work for? Who does it work for? As I said, it now works for a huge variety of parents. It's really, really comfortable. In terms of how it fits on you individually, that's going to depend on your shoulder shape and your waist shape, but actually it fits a huge range of parents. It can be worn crisscrossed or H-strap, and for babies it generally works from about 8 weeks, as I said, through to about 2 years. It offers 4 carrying positions. So we've got the front inwards, as I've shown, we have outwards, we have a hip carry, and we have a back carry, and it really does give you a huge amount of flexibility. So all in all, this is a fabulous option. It does come at a fairly steep price, It's currently on the market at the time of making this video for 174.90, so £175, which does really put it at the top end. In terms of comparables, obviously there's the older model, which is currently retailing for £10 less, but to be honest, with the updates and it only being about £10, I think if you were sold on Ergo, I would probably go for this one. In terms of other brands, there's the Tula, which is I think about £20 cheaper. There's the Beko Gemini, which does all of the same things, is a slightly smaller carrier and comes in at only 105. So there are definitely options, and there are some others, so feel free to ask if you need more recommendations. So there are others if this feels priced out of. However, I think if it fits you well and you like it, because it lasts so well, this carrier can really be worth its weight and worth its cost and worth its weight in gold, because it's something you can use every day in a really flexible way. I do offer the option to hire it, so you can actually try it in your life and see if you're going to get your money's worth out of it before you buy. If you choose to hire it from me, I do give a discount equivalent to the same as a hire. So if you hire it, do like it, you can then buy it from me. I will give you a discount equivalent to what you paid in hire, and you've not lost out for trying it first, which for definitely with this carrier, why mine are always on hire, is definitely worth it, because if you are going to invest £175 in a carrier, it's worth knowing you actually really like it and it really fits you. Because like any carrier, it fits a bit like jeans. It does fit a huge wide range of people, but it's not perfect for everyone just because of difference in our shoulder shapes and our waist shapes and how it all sits on you. So if you have any questions, any comments, please do comment below, and do like and share this video. Thank you. Bye.